Hey, everybody, welcome to the show today. I am here, as usual, with Cristina Morales. Cristina, thanks for being here.
Hey, glad to be here.
Excellent, excellent. Hey, what do you want to know about? I know you were talking to me about, how tough of a market is with such low sales volume right now for the last year or so, and what's important and what's not. You get to see all these agents out there in the industry and people we work with and see how the ones that succeed and the ones that don't. I'm curious. Why don't you tell me about what you're thinking and the questions you might have about that?
Sure. So we both work with a lot of real estate agents. And so I was thinking, what do brokers and team leaders need to know right now? Because we're hearing so many things. And so I wanted to refine it down to what are the things that we need to do and not do. So what are the three things that we shouldn't compromise on? Where should we focus our efforts? And maybe what are some things that we don't need to think about that we should just harness our energy on? And I can't think of a better person to answer that question than you, Brian.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So, three things that we should never compromise on in any market. We're going to talk about a slow market where there's not a lot of inventory and not huge buyer demand because of increased interest rates. So we'll definitely pay attention to that one too and make sure that we shouldn't compromise them. I think the first one, the most important thing and also the most underrated thing out there is mindset. Coming from a coach's point of view and hearing from what all of our coaches are talking about now, some agents just get in a scarcity-based mindset when things go bad. It's like they're convincing themselves that it's okay to quit on their dreams, right? Because we all got into this thing, into real estate, with at least one or two things in mind. We all wanted to make more money, to earn a living. And then we all wanted to have flexibility or more time to do what we want to do with our life, whether it's family, friends, travel, whatever you do. Right? So we have those two competing goals at all times. And people lose sight of the time one all the time. That's the one that they just get into panic mode, scarcity-based mode, and oftentimes overwork and do everything themselves. And then that burns them out. And then they get angry and they say it's too hard. And then it just perpetuates and they never see a way out of it because they're in scarcity-based mode. They get into, I'm going to take it all back. I'm going to do everything myself. I'm going to start, if I run a team, I'm going to start showing buyers again. Or if I'm out of production, I'm going to start taking listings again, or I'm going to start running the team meetings, or I'm going to fire this person and do it myself. A lot of that kind of stuff starts to happen because they're in scarcity-based mode. They're like, how do I pay the bills? You know what I mean? All of a sudden I got less income. And rather than trying to find ways to fight through it, because you got to realize, if you have this dream of success, there's going to be bumps in the road. You know what I mean? It's not a straight path up to success. It's more of a, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back type of thing. It's jagged. And if we just give up at the first or second or third, tough market we've experienced, and then say, okay, I'm just going to scale everything back, or I'm going to take jobs back, that's too many steps backwards, right? So the mindset has to stay on growth. And that's called an abundant mindset, is we're going to be abundant. We are going to continue to try to grow. We're going to play offense more than we play defense. Yes, we're going to keep our costs reasonable. Yes, we're going to tighten the belts on things. Sure, we're going to look at our budget. We're going to look at our P&L, and we're going to change some things there to get through this. That's reasonable, right? I think that's obvious. Okay? But most of the time, that's all people do. They don't double down on their growth efforts. Okay? And the only way to do that is have that mindset rather than the excuse mindset. The reasons, like all the reasons why I can't do it or it won't work. And that's the scarcity. So I just got to cut costs because of all these problems. I got to cut costs because of the market. I got to cut costs because of the inventory. I got to cut costs because of the interest rates, because of the president, whatever. I got to cut costs. I got to cut costs. That can get into a scarcity-based spiral right there. The only time you really see any major business in the modern world slash all their costs and firing everybody is when they're going out of business. People don't do that to get through bad markets. They don't fire everybody. They don't abandon all their systems and their goals. Okay, they find a way to get through. They know this will pass. They act like they've been here before. I'm going to say that one again. They act like they've been here before, right? Great football player. Jerry Rice scored the most touchdowns in football for the San Francisco 49ers. Cristina, you probably like them, being from the Bay Area. One thing I liked about Jerry Rice is every time he scored a touchdown, he just put the ball on the ground or he gave it to the ref. He never celebrated, never did anything. Why? He goes, I just figure I'd act like I'd done it before. I don't need to celebrate. I've done it so many times. See what I'm saying? He went right back to work. Act like he'd done it before. And so if you panic and get in a scarcity-based mode in this market, don't think your family will see it. Don't think your team or your brokerage or your other leaders or even your clients won't see it. It'll come through in your listing presentations and your buyer consultations. It'll come through that fear of the market if you get into that, okay? But if you act like you've been through this before and you've been through a market downturn before, which typically happens every 10 years, you know what I mean? This time it's been a little bit longer because we had a real big one back in 2007-8. But I'll tell you, when it does happen, we get through it. I mean, that 2007-8, that Great Recession, we even had prices go down then. At least we don't have that. We had prices going down, foreclosures, short sales, all that, and low inventory. No buyer demand. No one thought real estate was going to hold up. And then in a couple of years, everybody's buying again. And then another year or two after that, we were back and got all our appreciation in our houses back too. Did not take long, but it felt like forever. And that's kind of what happened. So that's the number one, is keep an abundance-based mindset. Don't get into scarcity. Stay. And the way we do that is we focus on growth. Okay. And that's number two. Focusing on growth is the next thing you can never compromise on. And it's very easy to do, especially in the busy season, which I call the harvest season. And that is typically between April and August. You will see the most homes sold. And so agents get very, very busy, especially when they're in a scarcity-based mindset. And they don't have any time to try and get new business. So they stop all lead generation and just focus on servicing the clients they have in the hopper. And this is very, very bad, right? Because that starts what we call the real estate roller coaster, where you have a ton of business and then come October, November, December, you have no business and you're firing people and thinking about other careers. And then you work, and that's the only thing, that fear is the only thing that motivates you to try to lead generate at the start of the next year until spring and summer roll around and you're too busy to do it anymore. And it's up and down, and never security, never safe. Always panic, never knowing if you're going to have income the next year, because you are not steadily committed to growth. You only do it when your back's up against the wall and you're feeling broke. That is not a business, right? So we have to stay focused on lead generation and never stop. And that shows up two ways, right? Lead generation for some is getting listings. Okay. So we always focus on listings first ahead of buyers. Right. Okay, we always do that because listings bring buyers and they give you a lot of name recognition and get more listings too. So we focus on getting listings. That's always. We never stop. And if you're a leader, this is very tough. If you're a leader of a team or a brokerage, this is when we recruit the heaviest. I'm going to say that again. I've got a lot of people that have gone backwards because the market's bad with their agent count on their team or their brokerage. And they're the ones typically that don't recruit. But the ones that have stayed head down, I'm going to recruit through this. Well, man, every agent on the planet wants to change their current situation right now. It has never been easier to recruit. So we've got some teams we've coached who have gone from 50 agents to 150 in the last 2 years through a slow, low sales volume market, because they can just, all these agents are finally not okay and want to meet with you and see if the grass is greener with you. Prior to that, in the hot market, I mean, I can go all the way back to 2017. We had low inventory, but a lot of sales.
Yeah.
And most agents, they were doing fine. They didn't even want to talk to you about joining your team. I'm good. I got it right now. So lead generation comes right now. People still want to buy and sell houses at a very high level right now. That still happens. So we have to focus and never stop trying to get business. Never shut the marketing machine down. Ever, 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 ever do we shut the marketing. We have to learn to get through the summer months and still do some sort of lead generation activity regularly, maybe it's an hour a day, maybe it's 2 hours a day, Monday through Friday, maybe it's even 3 hours if you're really determined and hungry. It could be 3 hours of some sort of business generation activity a day. It could be calling, could be emailing, mailing, door knocking, social media content, whatever it is you do to generate new business. Make sure it's designed to generate new business, okay? Not fall back into a customer service mindset, which is wonderful. I love customer service. It's very important, but I just don't see a lot of people quitting real estate because they hated customer service. They don't. Everybody can really do that one. Most have that one down. What separates the successful ones from the unsuccessful is the ability to lead generate or not. It's a very small few people that can go out and make business happen. If you can learn how to do that, the fear, the roller coaster, the scarcity, it all goes away. Just like, I mean, if you've got let's say you have a brokerage with 20 agents in it, and you can't cover your margin unless you go back and sell more yourself or something, or you're just not making much money off your brokerage if you don't sell, something like that. Look at how much money you bring in from those 20 agents. And now imagine if you went out and you recruited 2 agents a month for the next 12 months, and you doubled the size of your brokerage. Hell, that'd do it in 10 months. So now you have twice the amount of income coming in because you have twice the agent count. Boy, does that open up profit margins. And you weather the market by swimming upstream through it. That's why we never stop growing. It is so, and I know what I'm saying there sounds evil, because we are just designed as human beings by the programming we get from, the media or whomever, I don't know, always telling us, put people first, put your customers first. And everybody advertises they do that. But trust me, they aren't putting 90% of their company's efforts into customer service. It's somewhere down at 10 or 20%. Their sales and marketing division, though, oh, it's way up there. That one gets a lot of effort, okay? So don't believe everything you're seeing. These guys focus on sharpening the tip of the spear constantly, and they never take their eyes off growth if they're a successful corporation, okay? So that's number 2. Number 1, we got to stay abundant. We got to control our mind. Number 2, we got to focus on growth, either lead generate or recruit. One of the two, get listings or get agents, or both. Okay. That's how you get through it. A lot of people will be giving up, but you will be too if you don't, if you don't try to grow through this, right? The third thing is the most important. It might sound self-serving, but it doesn't necessarily need to be. You really got to focus on your professional growth. Okay. If you're trying to navigate this all by yourself because you've got all the knowledge up here, you don't. I can tell you that right now. You don't. Because anybody in any business will tell you don't. And every one of them will say that you need to find someone who's succeeded at a level similar to where you want to go. And they will save you all the trial and error steps that you think you're getting just by randomly looking at things on YouTube or Google or taking courses, right? In fact, it's not even about knowledge. Knowledge isn't the problem. You know what you should be doing. But yet you're looking on Google thinking that new knowledge will somehow excite you or motivate you. Like you need that to motivate you. And that's a problem. If you need another person to motivate you or another thing to motivate you, that is a huge problem. Because then you're always looking for something else. You're never going to fight through the problem that's right in front of you. You're looking for magic pills that don't really exist. Trust me. LeBron James is a great basketball player, but I still think he feels like he's going to work every day. At some point, he loved the purity of the game. Now, I guarantee you, it's work for him. Okay, because he puts in work. And that's kind of how this works too. If you get too locked onto looking for something else to motivate you, then what'll end up happening is you yourself will not develop the ability to make yourself work through the tough steps of the job. You may have gotten into real estate because you love houses and you love people and you just love, all the flexibility in the job, and that's all great. But here's the thing they didn't tell you on HGTV is you are going to have to spend a very small percentage of your day doing things you don't like. It could be an hour a day. Imagine if you did an hour a day of lead generation Monday through Friday. That would be like 250 hours a year trying to get new business. I think that would improve a lot of people's business. You want to do 2 hours a day, it's 500. I'm pretty sure you can improve your. I've never seen anyone fail that didn't want to put in, that was able to put in a couple hours a week towards growth, towards lead generation, right? Only way you're going to do that, though, I guarantee you, is if someone holds you accountable to it. Someone's got to hold you accountable to it, or you'll start making your own decisions. That's why coaching, training, so important. You've got to have someone. At the highest level, you pay for a coach, because then you'll for sure do it. You've got skin in the game. You're paying money. It's expensive for most people. So that's that actual activity of paying per month it creates that accountability that makes you do those hard things that you don't want to do, the growth activities. We all just want to do the stagnant activities, take the business that comes to us, bird in the hand, which is customer service. The bird is already in your hand. You're taking care of it. We want more birds. We got to get more birds. And that's hard work. That takes vulnerability. That takes discomfort. That's not fun. I don't know anybody that likes doing lead generation, but it's better than giving up on your dreams and goals and your family. So, and their dreams and goals. You can still go home and tell your spouse that you go to work every day, I guess. You're not doing the work part of the work, but you can. So people always ask me, why do only, 5% of the agents do 95% of the business? The other 95% just want to pretend like they have a job. The job part is lead generation, gang. Especially if you're talking about cutting back and cutting expenses. If you're not doubling up on your lead generation, but you're cutting and tightening your belt on expenses, what are we doing? You're going way too many steps backward. Let's at least start by increasing the revenue. Let's get some uptick. You should have more time. You're complaining it's slow. Let's fill the time with some more growth activities. And that's something a coach will tell you, because you love it right now, because whoever's watching this likely just went on the internet and heard this and said, wow, that is motivating. And it'll stick with you probably till the end of the day, but not tomorrow. Tomorrow you'll need that coach again, because you won't want to do it. You'll have a different reason. There'll be something, right? But a coach keeps you in it. And that's the big deal. And most agents try it forever. It's very few percentage of agents that get coaches and trainers. They either have a good broker at their office, which is good. That's great. Or you go to a team and the leader is someone whose business you admire, and they'll give you some training and coaching. That's good too. It's better than nothing. But you need to be growing professionally. So someone's got to be helping you, so you don't just keep going trial and error. If you keep learning by trial and error, the odds are against you making it long in this business. That's just the way it works. You start looking at other things, like I'm going to start flipping houses, or I'm going to start doing Airbnbs. And you just start getting out of the real estate sales business. You don't even tell people that's what you do primarily anymore. And it's all because you just can't commit yourself to those growth activities. If you look back at it, you'll have other reasons in your head, because no one wants to admit that one. But, so that denial kicks hard on real estate agents. But generally speaking, it's because you didn't want to do lead generation activities. And again, lead generation activities, if you have a coach and trainer, they're what's going to keep you focused on growth, so that we can actually get some time back too. Right? And that time back is, you don't have to lead generate forever. Most of my clients don't lead generate at all. They have enough people lead generate. Make sense?
Yeah.
Most of my clients lead generate, they door knock, they call expireds, they work online leads, they'd work their SOI, of course. They do all those types of things, farm neighborhoods. But with a coach, you get systems put up. You learn how to hire people, and all of a sudden you get your time back and they lead generate for you. So those systems, putting those together yourself is just crazy to me. I don't know why anybody want to try to reinvent the wheel when it's already been done for you. You've been trying to do things by trial and error for a long time in the past. And the Einstein's theory, not of relativity, but of sanity. The definition of insanity is trying to do things the same way over and over again. Find someone who's done it and has all the roadmaps and get it done. Maybe it's your team leader, maybe it's your broker. Hopefully it's us at Icenhower Coaching, and we can get you there. Most of our clients are powering through this right now, and they're picking up steam. And when this market turns around, they are going to clobber it, because they have tons of agents, they have tons of listings, they've been working the whole time. You're hoping most people are just hoping it gets back so they can survive. These guys are just going to clobber it. When it comes, they've got lots of fishing poles in the water that are ready. when we go over a big school of fish. So they are controlling it that way. And so the coach is what's going to help you let go too. Letting go is one of the biggest problems that is based upon that scarcity mindset, where they get back in and they say, I want to take all this back. I'm going to fire everybody. It'd be so much easier if I'm doing it, or I'm going to start doing. They find themselves, almost every top producing team leader and broker finds themselves working a little bit more and getting into it, which is okay if we're on growth. But if we're not on growth, if we're not trying to get more agents or get listings, we are definitely doing something we shouldn't be doing. You're trying to save pennies by doing, whatever, $20 an hour jobs or something like that we should have leveraged out, and we should put you back on the growth stuff, not being the office admin or whatever it is you're trying to do on your own. So that's a very, very big one. So I'd say those are the three. Mindset, keep it focused on abundance, never scarcity. Stay focused on growth, lead generation and recruiting, and then focus on professional growth. Make sure you have mentors, coaches, and trainers in your life that help keep pushing you forward on a growth mindset.